Hi. So I shed a few tears before I made this video, so I'm hoping that I got it all out. So I have been asked on more than one occasion, why am I doing the carnivore diet? And this is not the first time that I have been asked about my eating practices, because to many people, I've done things in the past that just seem so extreme. You know, when I first started the paleo diet and, even did a round of the Whole30 and was telling people, oh, I'm not eating bread anymore, or I'm not eating certain types of sugar anymore. It was just like, oh, well, why are you doing that? And, isn't whole wheat good for you? And then when I made the transition to keto, more questions came like, well, why are you going that extreme, and is that necessary? And now carnivore has really taken the cake. And I think if I could sum it up in one answer, it's as to why I have been attracted to these extreme diets, if you will. And I have to say that it's not, in my opinion, just like a diet. It's a lifestyle, because each of these things, when I started the paleo, it wasn't something that I did in 1 week to just drop, 10 pounds or whatever. It was a lifestyle for me. And then when I learned about the keto diet, I made the transition because that seemed like that was just the natural progression. And even then, I wasn't looking at it as, oh, this is just a diet. This is a lifestyle. And now the same with the carnivore diet. So if I could sum it up into one word, it's desperation. Desperate people do extreme things. And whether that's with your diet or just in other areas of your life, desperation can lead you to a place of doing things that others may deem as extreme. But I realize that sometimes if we want change, that we have to take on extreme measures. You can't continue doing what you do and expect to get a different result, right? As someone says, that's really insanity, to keep on doing the same thing and expecting a different result. So what am I desperate for? I'm desperate for healing. As you can see, I don't have much hair, and actually some of it is growing in now. The parts that typically grow in, since I haven't shaved my head in probably a month or so, those areas have grown in. But if you look around here, you can see that there's bald spots. Hair grows in here, but it's very thin in here and really minimal growth in here. So I'm desperate for healing. I have prayed, I have cried, I have begged God for a miracle for years. I am now 41 years old, and my hair loss really, in a noticeable way, started my junior year of college. So just to give you some perspective. And even before that, I just, as I reflect, I was experiencing some thinning, but it wasn't like skin ball. But when I was in college, it really just went to a whole nother level, the latter part of my college years. And even then, it wasn't really bad all over, because I was able to disguise it. Like I had, the thing, I remember just getting some really tight extensions in my hair, braids, and just literally touching my scalp, and like a few of the braids just falling out from the root. And of course I was like super terrified and just like, oh my goodness, what is going on? And initially I assumed that my hair loss was just because of my styling options. And let me just say, I do believe 100% that played a role in it, because I, continue to add extensions and even putting different chemicals in my hair. So I do believe that played a role in it. But as time went on, I realized that it was not just my styling options, that there was some autoimmune issues going on. And, you know, I'll discuss that later on. So it didn't help that I was doing all these other things that was just creating a lot of tension on my already compromised head, if you will. So with time, it just went from bad to worse, quite honestly. And I, like I said, have just begged and I have prayed and I have asked God for healing. And I've gone to different dermatologists, especially when it first started. And, you know, I just remember the last one where I'm just like, okay, I'm done with this. He was like, your follicles are dead. He didn't even want to do a biopsy. He was just like, it's just dead. There's almost, it was so dehumanizing for me, because it was like, it's not even worth like digging deeper into what's really going on, because I could just look and clearly tell that it's not going to grow back. And I refused to receive that, but it did, you know, just was like somebody punching you in your gut. And I had to like pull myself together. And after that, I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm done with, you know, going to dermatologists, because at that point I couldn't afford to go to like a holistic doctor or anything. So I then began this journey of just really trying to figure out how to heal internally first, because, you know, God is just so amazing, because I didn't even really know which direction to go. And through just a different string of events, it was like he would present different information to me, and it was just like, oh, okay, let me go along this path. And I feel like where I am today, that it's been a journey to get to this place, right? Because I have just been on such a journey. And I'm just gonna tell you, when I first started exploring using food as a means of just healing, that there is no way initially that I would have jumped to the carnivore diet, just quite honestly. And I know that God knows that, right? So I think that just in time, he allowed me to just come across different information, and to some that may seem weird, but I so believe in God's leading. And I know that it is nothing for him, I've said before, to just, you know, in an instant bring healing and my hair be restored and my follicles open and operate as they should. But, and I've seen him do instantaneous healing. So that's not something that I question, but I believe that he's allowed me to go through this process, because it's been more than just about my hair. And I feel like if healing just came overnight, even though, oh my goodness, I wanted it to, I feel like I would have missed out on so many other lessons. And you know, that's a whole nother video all by itself. But I am so excited, and I'm feeling extremely hopeful with this carnivore diet. And I realize that as I have been on this journey, that while at different parts in the journey I've been eating the right foods and making the transition to eat what is right for me, that I can't expect things to just change overnight, because with time I realized that I had leaky gut, and that I wasn't absorbing, even though I was eating some of the right foods, I wasn't absorbing the nutrients from those foods. So now I'm just in the process with this carnivore diet of really, I'm desperate to just have this issue, you know, resolved and to heal my gut. So I know that looking at it from a natural perspective, that it may take years. I don't know. I'm hoping that it happens sooner, but I'm, again, just feeling very hopeful now, because of, you know, just even some of the progress that I've seen over the last 4 months in areas where hair hasn't grown before. And I actually, I think like 2 years ago, took a test, because I was just, you know, for a long time, I stayed away from just dealing with the doctors with anything concerning my hair, because of what happened, previously with that dermatologist who wouldn't even do like an in-depth look at what was really going on. So I finally got the courage to go back to the doctor concerning this specific thing, and they ran some different tests, and one of the tests came back positive for lupus. And of course that was a bit concerning for me because I'm like, whoa. But when I went up for my follow-up appointment, they were expressing to me that it wasn't necessarily that I had lupus. It was more of a generic autoimmune test that they gave me, and I can't remember the name of it. But that test just showed that there was definitely some autoimmune issues going on. So for me, even though I had been doing my little Google search and, really trying to just figure it out all on my own with the Lord's leading, it was kind of good to just say, okay, there's a test to confirm my suspicions that there are some autoimmune issues going on. I haven't had a follow-up since. All right, sorry, my camera died, or I should say ran out of space in the middle of me recording this. So I haven't had a follow-up since then, and just for different reasons, but as of now, I just feel like I am definitely on the right track, because even with doing the carnivore diet, I can definitely tell, and I'm more aware of the things that I am sensitive to that I didn't realize I was sensitive to. So it's very exciting for me to just be on this journey. And I was hesitant, honestly, to do this video because I was thinking to myself, okay, so what if I do this, post this video, and a year from now, my hair is still looking like this? And then I thought, who cares? Like, I'm gonna go ahead and do this because this is just a part of my journey. And, if it doesn't happen in a year, then so be it. And if the carnivore diet doesn't work, then I am still going to continue to believe the Lord for healing. But I just figured that I would invite you along on the process, and to just even answer the question of why on earth am I doing something so extreme? So, like I said, in short, the answer is desperation. I'm desperate for healing, and I've tried, just different things that people would suggest, like the vegan diet, and that definitely did not work for me. Created a lot of inflammation in my body because of the different things that I was consuming. And let me just make it clear, I was not one of those, oh, I'm doing vegan and I'm eating Oreos. I was doing like whole foods and all of that. So it wasn't necessarily that I was doing, I guess, the dirtier version. I was eating the cleaner version of vegan and still just not good. So, and that's fine. And I know people who do it and they say that they have wonderful results. It didn't necessarily work for me. So here I am, and I can say that overall I am feeling good. And I just, like I said, wanted to make this video to take you along on this journey with me, and we'll just see what happens and if this is gonna do it this time around. So yeah, just wanted to share that with you. You be blessed.